we've also heard from children over the years, get regulated, use sensory tools, take a deep breath. I don't want to. Why would I want to? I don't really want to take that math test that is coming next on my plan or on my daily routine. I don't really want to clean my room, and I actually don't even want to come to the dinner table to sit with all of you. So one of the things that we felt was a basic tenet, the most important thing here is to really help children to realize in whatever way that they can, why they even care about being regulated and ready. I care if my children are regulated and ready because I'd like them to survive the day and I'd like to feel connected to them. So we brainstormed some questions. In this activity, what you would do is color each of the question sections different colors. And if you have your special Sugar Rush pens like I do, now my wheel is going to smell really, really good. So you're going to color all those different sections, and that's a place where you could really give your child control, right? So you're not telling them what color, and by the way, it really doesn't matter what color. So if that becomes a battle, that's one you can totally let go. If they say, fine, I'll color your stupid wheel, but I'm coloring it all brown, totally cool. We let it go. And then similar to the dial, you're going to cut out the circle and the arrow and use a paper clip. And this becomes a conversational game where children can answer these questions about what motivates them. This is really a strengths-based tool. Motivation, we're trying to move from external, I'm not biting you because my mom said not to bite you right now, to an internal, I am choosing to be regulated and ready because I love learning about dinosaurs. And I know that I'm not ready to learn about dinosaurs or bioluminescent dolphins until I'm in a place where I'm regulated and ready. So the questions that you would spin the little arrow and take turns asking each other would be things like, what do you love to do outside? Who do you love to talk to? What do you love to play inside? What do you love to eat? Who do you love to play with? And it's okay if these bring up some emotions, and it's absolutely okay if this activity becomes a short conversation over a lot of different days. So Sarah, what do you think as far as like grading this up and down, making it more applicable to all our friends?
Yes. So for our grading down, some of our friends, these are some hard conversations to have, right? So talking about these things, some kids, especially in intimate conversations like these, they can freeze and they get nervous and they're like, I have no idea, right? So one really good tactic to do this is before actually starting the game, read through them. And while you're coloring it together, have a light conversation. And once again, if modeling needs to happen, like, man, one of my favorite things to do on Sunday afternoons is to read a book, or you can even suggest some ideas to them, like, oh, remember you just jumped on the trampoline yesterday. So make it more inviting in the sense of having it just be a conversation while you're completing this physical activity, meaning like you're coloring it, right? You're actually doing something rather than just sitting and looking at each other. Having these conversations before you actually start the game will definitely lighten the mood and have everybody be aware of what's coming next. And then to grade it up. So our friends that, are ready for that next step of this is, like Robin said, this is not just between you and your child. This is between your child, you, and your entire family. So have your child take this game and go to their sibling and be like, okay, let's play this quick game together, and have them be the director of this game, and have them feel empowered by teaching their sibling about things that they love and enjoy.
Totally. Sibling, dog, cat.
Yes, exactly.
Turtle. The other thing that came to my mind when you were talking about that is that not all of our friends answer with words, and that's totally okay. So it might be that you draw two really basic pictures and put, a picture of one friend and another friend, or a slide and a car on the table, and they just touch the one that they think is answering the question. Or they maybe are a wonderful artist, but really a lot of words don't come out of their mouth, and they just want to draw things. I had a friend that I was working with, well, now like 15 years ago, and she would draw anything on any topic. But when you asked her to say words, that part of her brain really didn't work as well. And it was way overwhelming, really, really hard. And so it might be that you pull in an AAC device at this point, and that would be very cool. You have them grab their iPad with Proloquo to go on it, and they're answering these questions that way. Yeah, so those are all such great ideas. So many different ways that you could play this game. Very, very cool. Okay, so then the next step in this process, again, thinking about making this as simple as possible, is to focus on what does regulated and ready look like, as opposed to focusing on what it doesn't look like. We can get there, we will get there, but we're not maybe there right now during this overwhelmed and hard season. So for this activity, you would sit down as a family, and everyone has their own little regulated and ready page, and you're going to ask everyone, hey guys, when did you feel regulated and ready? And they might say something like, oh, that time that we were at Legoland and we got to ride the rides and go around the little lazy river and grab the Lego. Perfect. That's a great example. We felt really connected as a family, and that's a fun time. And then again, sharing when you felt regulated and ready. And then we put 3 boxes on this worksheet so that you could just do little drawings if someone wanted to. And we're trying to make this very concrete for people to understand, right? Because this is an abstract concept for kids. What does regulated and ready even mean? I know I use the word regulated like 5 million times a day, but that's because of the work that I do. It's not a common term, and it would be wonderful if it could be, which is why we're developing this curriculum and working really hard to improve our social emotional development support for kids. But they might not understand that. So we're trying to make this really concrete. What does it look like? What do I look like? Sometimes to start blossoming that theory of mind, I ask the children, if there's a fly on the wall looking down at me right now, what would they see that would tell them, oh, Robin is regulated and ready to have that mint chip ice cream right now, right? Like, what are they going to see? They're probably not going to see my eyes like bulging out of my head with my eyebrows up and my mouth super, super tight. So what does it look like? And they might say a smile. That's a common answer that we get. And again, this could be one word and they're just going to draw a quick picture. Then it's also interesting to think about how we move. And this is research-based. It's really interesting. There's a woman researcher who actually hooks up little receptors onto the muscle fibers, and she actually tracks the micro movements of muscles. And our muscles actually react differently when we are regulated, and even depending on how our brain is working at that moment or that season or that time of development. So how are we moving when we're regulated and ready? We're probably not sprinting across the room about to hit someone, right? Like, that's not a good sign. You're moving at a medium speed. Your muscles are contracting in a purposeful, careful way. When I go to drink my tea and I'm regulated and ready, it's less likely that it's going to dump all over me because of how I'm moving when I'm regulated and ready. Also, if I'm really upset and not regulated and I go to eat some food, it's more likely that I'm going to choke, right? So this is something interesting to be thinking about. And then the last section on this page that you all see in front of you, and you can, again, add in your answers right now as a model, or give yourself the gift of a little bit of self-reflection time. How do you feel when you're regulated and ready? It might start out with just fine, happy, not angry, and whatever emotional level of response your child has is wonderful and great. Some tools that your child could use to answer that question, there's super cute cartoon images that have like pictures, or maybe emojis really speak to them. So Sarah, talk to us a little bit. This is a harder one because there's a lot of lines and there's a lot of boxes. So for some kids, that's like, you're gonna have me do what right now? No, before you even speak a word. So what do they do?
Most definitely. So, talking about grading it down, about those friends that do get overwhelmed, getting back to the whole purpose of this is to build a relationship with your child and to start an open dialogue or conversation about what this looks like. So, if that means removing the writing for them, right, that's okay. Maybe have them draw the picture or even don't draw the picture. It's more about slowly starting to have these conversations and making sure that taking a step back, kind of making sure when you do have these conversations with your kids, it's not right after you had a very intense conversation about
Yeah.
something, right? So it needs to be in a place where everybody feels neutral and it's calm, right? And so you deciding when that time would be is completely up to you and your family. But so to grade down and just to remove the paper, right? Maybe it's just a conversation and you're coloring a picture or something in that regard, because the point of this is to come back to the idea of relationship, connection, and self-awareness in your kids. So if that means that this paper is too overwhelming, there's no need to have it. Just use it as your guide and maybe have it filled out yourself so you know how to kind of guide that conversation between you and your child. Something that Robin had mentioned was like talking about a specific time. So now kind of getting into that graded up area, our friend is understanding this concept, and let's take it that one step further. Well, everybody is regulated and ready in different places, right? So if I'm in soccer practice, regulated and ready looks different than when I'm in the classroom. So possibly having that conversation with your child about how like regulated and ready looks different in different settings, and having them become aware of that. It's a continuum, like you like to say, Robin, right? So it's more about the certain situation and the context of the situation. So really generating that idea of that it's very fluid and open will really help your child to understand how to use this concept broadly across their day.
As you were talking about that, I could hear myself asking my children so sweetly, of course, to go play outside, and thinking another way I could have said that is, you guys look so regulated and ready to play outside right now.
Yes, it's perfect.
Where you're not so regulated and ready to be inside right now.
Yes,
As
yes.
I'm like watching my furniture like age 5 million years in 2 weeks time.
Most definitely.
That's so good. Yeah. This concept is interesting, and it's hard for kids, but it also is so intuitive. So there's a lot of different words, and whatever words work best for your family. So maybe words like fun or honor or respect, whatever words work best for you and your family. I would love for you guys to practice these things and then share your ideas on that Growing Healthy Children Facebook page with each other, just because it would be wonderful for us to really partner with each other in all of this. And maybe what worked well for your family that you happened upon easily would be exactly what another family needs. So let's really share and then even be connected with each other as we're trying out these things as therapists and as parents and teachers too. So, okay, awesome.